Welcome to Laboratory of Dreams. Hello, and welcome to all our dear friends at the Lab of Dreams, where stories come alive and every tale is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Whether you're snuggled up at home or taking a moment to relax, our stories are here to bring a touch of magic to your day. Today, we're excited to bring you a special winter tale, Zoe and Azure's Winter Quest. Join Zoe, a lively little black poodle, and her newfound friend Azure, a bright and clever kingfisher, as they embark on an exciting journey through a winter wonderland on the outskirts of the city. Their mission? To find the missing cat Snowball, whose disappearance has left the neighborhood in a stir. So, gather around, get cozy, and let's dive into a world of snowy adventures, unexpected friendships, and the joy of helping others. Welcome to Zoe and Azure's Winter Quest. In the quiet outskirts of the city, where the houses were few and the snow lay thick on the ground, Zoe, a little black poodle, woke up to another beautiful winter morning. She stretched and yawned, her black fur contrasting sharply with the white blanket of snow outside her window. Today was the first day of her winter break, and she was spending it in a small, cozy house, surrounded by a vast expanse of snowy fields and frost-covered trees. Zoe loved winter. She loved the way her paws sunk into the soft snow, the way the cold air made her feel alive, and most of all, she loved the endless possibilities for adventure that each snowy day brought. With a wag of her tail, she bounded out the door, ready to explore. As Zoe frolicked in the snow, chasing snowflakes and leaping over snowdrifts, a cheerful chirping caught her attention. She looked up to see a bright bird with feathers, as blue as the clear winter sky. The bird swooped down and landed gracefully on a nearby branch. "Hello there, I'm Azure, the kingfisher. You seem to be enjoying the snow quite a bit," Azure said with a friendly trill. Zoe barked happily. "Hi, Azure, I'm Zoe. Yes, I love the snow. It's my favorite time of year." Azure fluttered his wings, causing the snow on the branch to scatter like glitter. "I've seen many winters, and each one is as beautiful as the last. I love sharing stories of my travels and the things I've seen from the skies." As they talked, Zoe and Azure quickly became friends. They played in the snow, with Azure showing Zoe his acrobatic flights, and Zoe impressing Azure with her agility and playful antics. Their fun was interrupted when Zoe noticed something unusual. Tucked between the branches of a tree was a poster, flapping gently in the winter breeze. Curious, Zoe trotted over, and Azure followed. The poster was an advertisement with a picture of a cat and big, bold letters, "Missing Snowball." "Oh no," Zoe exclaimed, her mood turning somber. "This is Snowball. He's from a family in the neighborhood. They must be worried sick." Azure peered at the poster with concern. "That's unfortunate. In the winter, it's easy for little ones to lose their way. Maybe we can help find him." Zoe's eyes lit up with determination. "Yes, let's do that. We can be heroes, Azure. We'll find Snowball and bring him home." And so, Zoe and Azure, a poodle and a kingfisher, set out on their winter quest. They didn't know where their search would take them or what adventures lay ahead, but they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. As they ventured deeper into the snowy landscape, the world seemed vast and full of mysteries. Little did they know, their journey would be filled with new friends, hidden trails, and the joy of helping someone in need. With the mission to find Snowball set in their hearts, Zoe and Azure started their journey across the snowy expanse. The landscape was a winter wonderland, with trees like frosted sculptures and the ground a canvas of unblemished snow. As they ventured forth, Azure flew above, scouting ahead, while Zoe used her keen sense of smell to search for any clues. Their first stop was the neighborhood where Snowball lived. Houses lined the street, adorned with twinkling lights and winter decorations. Zoe approached the house in the poster, a charming blue home with a garden now blanketed in snow. She could sense the worry and sadness in the air. Azure perched on the fence, observing the surroundings. "Let's ask around. Maybe someone has seen Snowball," suggested Azure. They started with Snowball's home. Zoe barked softly to get attention, and soon a little girl came to the door. Her eyes were red from crying. "Have you seen Snowball?" the girl asked, hope in her voice. "We're looking for him," Zoe replied gently. "Do you know where he liked to go? Any favorite spots?" The girl thought for a moment. He loved the old barn at the edge of the forest. He always came back with stories of his adventures there. Thanking the girl, Zoe and Azure headed towards the forest. The forest edge was quiet. The only sounds were the crunch of Zoe's paws in the snow and the gentle flapping of Azure's wings. As they reached the old barn, an air of mystery surrounded the dilapidated structure. It was a place of shadows and secrets, long forgotten by the hustle and bustle of city life. Inside the barn, they found traces of Snowball, a few paw prints in the dust, and some fur caught on a splintered wooden plank. Azure's keen eyes spotted a small hole in the back of the barn, leading into the forest. "This must be where Snowball went," Azure said, pointing to the hole. Zoe peered into the dark opening. "It's a bit small for me, but I can follow the trail outside." Together, they traced Snowball's path into the forest. The forest was a stark contrast to the open fields they had crossed earlier. The trees stood tall and close, their branches interlocking to form a canopy overhead, casting playful shadows on the snow. As they delved deeper, the sense of adventure grew. They encountered forest creatures, a family of rabbits who offered warm greetings, a wise old owl who shared tales of the forest, and a curious squirrel who chattered about the comings and goings of the woodland. Each encounter brought them closer to finding Snowball. They learned of a clearing deeper in the forest where animals gathered, a place Snowball was known to frequent. With new information and renewed hope, Zoe and Azure pressed on. Their journey through the snowy forest was turning out to be an adventure filled with friendship and discovery, each step taking them closer to their goal. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature as Zoe and Azure made their way deeper into the woods. The snow underfoot was fresher here, untouched by the bustle of the city. Azure's vibrant feathers stood out against the white backdrop as he flew from tree to tree, guiding Zoe through the thickening woods. Their destination was the clearing the squirrel had mentioned, a place where the forest animals often gathered. As they approached, the sound of voices and laughter reached their ears. The clearing was a hub of activity, with animals of all kinds mingling and sharing stories. In the middle of the clearing, Zoe and Azure found a group of animals engaged in a lively discussion. A deer, a fox, and a couple of rabbits were in the midst of a heated debate. Zoe approached cautiously. Azure fluttering to her side. "Excuse me," Zoe interjected politely. "We're looking for a cat named Snowball. Have any of you seen him?" The animals turned to look at the newcomers, their conversation pausing. The deer, who introduced himself as Eldon, stepped forward. "Snowball, the white cat. Yes, he's a regular here, but we haven't seen him in a few days." The fox, whose name was Flicker, added, "Snowball loved to tell tales of his explorations. He mentioned finding something unusual in the northern part of the forest, near the old Willow Creek." Zoe's ears perked up at this information. "Do you think he could be there now?" "It's possible," Eldon replied, "but be careful. That part of the forest is old and full of mysteries. Not many venture that far." After thanking the animals, Zoe and Azure headed towards Willow Creek. The forest here was older, the trees taller, and the air filled with the scent of ancient pine and earth. The snow was undisturbed, sparkling under the occasional rays of sunlight that broke through the canopy. As they neared Willow Creek, the atmosphere changed. The air grew colder, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. The creek itself was partially frozen, its waters moving slowly under a thin layer of ice. Azure, flying ahead, suddenly called out, "Zoe, come quickly. I found something." Zoe rushed over to find Azure hovering over a set of paw prints in the snow. They were fresh and unmistakably Snowball's. The tracks led towards a dense thicket near the creek. Carefully, they followed the prints, which took them to a small, hidden cave behind the thicket. The entrance was just big enough for Snowball to squeeze through. "Snowball must be inside," Zoe whispered. "But how do we get him out?" Azure peered into the cave. "Let me try calling him. Maybe he'll recognize my voice." Azure began to sing a sweet, melodious tune, a kingfisher's call that echoed softly into the cave. They waited with bated breath, hoping for a sign of Snowball. Minutes passed, and just when they started to worry, a faint meow answered from within the cave. Relief washed over them. Snowball was here, and he was alive. The next challenge was to coax Snowball out of the cave. Zoe and Azure had come this far, and they were determined to bring their winter quest to a successful end. With Snowball's faint meow echoing from the cave, Zoe and Azure knew they were close to completing their quest. The cave was dark and cramped, but they could just make out the silhouette of the lost cat deep within. "Snowball, it's okay. We're here to help you," Zoe called softly, trying to sound as reassuring as possible. "Can you come closer to the entrance?" There was a pause, and then the sound of cautious movement. Slowly, Snowball emerged into the dim light, his white fur dirty and matted, his eyes reflecting a mix of fear and relief. "I got lost," Snowball meowed weakly. "I was exploring, and I found this cave. But then I couldn't find my way back, and it got too cold to leave." Azure fluttered down to the ground, his bright feathers a stark contrast to the dull interior of the cave. "You're safe now, Snowball. We'll help you get back home." Zoe, though relieved to have found Snowball, realized that getting him out of the forest would be challenging. He was weak and tired, and they were deep in the woods, far from any familiar paths. "We need to find a way to get Snowball back without tiring him further," Zoe said thoughtfully. "Maybe we can create a sort of sled to carry him on the snow." Azure nodded in agreement. "I saw some large bark pieces near the creek. They might work." Working together, Zoe, Azure, and Snowball gathered sturdy pieces of bark and strong vines. With surprising ingenuity, they fashioned a makeshift sled just big enough for Snowball to lie on. As they set off, Zoe pulled the sled while Azure kept watch from above. The journey back was slow as they carefully navigated through the dense forest and over the snowy terrain. But the thought of reuniting Snowball with his family kept their spirits high. The adventure had strengthened the bond between the three animals. Snowball, despite his ordeal, was touched by the efforts of his new friends. Zoe and Azure, in turn, were moved by Snowball's gratitude and resilience. As they neared the edge of the forest, the familiar sights and sounds of the neighborhood greeted them. The journey through the winter woods had been long and fraught with challenges, but it had also been a journey of friendship and discovery. Finally, they reached Snowball's home. The sight of the blue house with its twinkling lights brought a wave of emotion. Snowball's family, who had been searching and worrying for days, rushed out at the sight of their beloved pet. Tears and joyous laughter filled the air as Snowball was reunited with his family. The little cat's adventure had come to an end, but the story of his rescue by a brave poodle and a clever kingfisher would be told and retold in the neighborhood for a long time. Zoe and Azure watched from a distance, their hearts full. They had set out to help a friend in need, and had done just that. As they turned to head back to the cozy house, they knew that their own winter tale was one they would never forget. After the emotional reunion between Snowball and his family, Zoe and Azure made their way back to the cozy house on the outskirts of the city. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the snowy landscape. The world seemed quieter now, more peaceful, as if it too was taking a moment to reflect on the day's events. As they walked, Azure broke the silence. "You know, Zoe, I've seen many winters, but this one will always stand out in my memory. We did something really special today." Zoe looked up at her friend, her tail wagging gently. "We did, didn't we? I never thought I'd go on such an adventure. We found a missing cat, braved the winter woods, and made a new friend." Azure nodded, his eyes thoughtful. "And we learned so much along the way. About courage, about helping others, and about the unexpected surprises the world has to offer." They reached the cozy house just as the first stars began to twinkle in the evening sky. The warmth of the house welcomed them, a stark contrast to the chilly air outside. Inside, by the glowing fireplace, Zoe and Azure settled down. The house was quiet, a comforting stillness that allowed them to soak in the day's experiences. Zoe thought about the adventure, the fear and uncertainty they had faced, the joy of finding Snowball, and the satisfaction of helping a friend in need. She realized that she had grown braver and more confident. Azure, perched on the windowsill, looked out at the night sky. "The world is full of mysteries and adventures, Zoe. Today was just one of many. Each day brings its own story." Zoe nodded, her eyes sleepy but content. "And we'll be ready for whatever comes next. Together, we make a great team." The little black poodle and the kingfisher, once just two creatures living their separate lives, had found a friendship forged in the spirit of adventure. They had ventured into the unknown and emerged stronger for it. As the fire crackled and the house settled for the night, Zoe and Azure drifted off to sleep, their dreams filled with snowy forests, moonlit paths, and the promise of more adventures to come. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining us on the wonderful journey of Zoe and Azure's winter quest. We hope you enjoyed this heartwarming tale of friendship, adventure, and the joy of helping others as much as we loved sharing it with you. If this story has warmed your heart and sparked your imagination, please consider showing your support by subscribing to our channel, The Lab of Dreams. And now, as we bid farewell to Zoe, Azure, and Snowball, we welcome you to unwind and relax with our selection of soothing music. Let these melodies transport you to a place of peace and tranquility, perfect for reflecting on the adventures we've shared and dreaming of those yet to come. Thank you again for being a part of our storytelling family. Remember to subscribe for more magical tales, and let the soothing rhythms of our music carry you into a world of serene dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and let the magic of stories and music fill your life.